So, ladies and gentle sir, I'm Samantha Harding. I am a loan officer with Success Lending, and we are expanding. I don't want to say we're a growing company. We grow every day. We have new agent, but we really, really want to settle down and come get to know our agents. We have some really dynamic programs. Like our $1,500 credit that we provide to every VA client. So that $1,500, if in my mind as a real estate agent, like that's $1,500 if they can't cover the buyer agency commission and stuff like that. That's our $1,500 that you can grab out and say, well, you know what, they're only paying 2%. I know you'll have the credit, so it kind of gives you a little bit more leverage. In my mind, that's what it is. But they can do whatever they want with it. We also have the city of Fayetteville down payment assistance. I don't know if y'all ever use it. It's pretty easy. We do it. They don't have overlays. We don't have overlays on top of their overlays. So if the client eligible, we can do it all day long. We don't have a problem. We don't add any additional things to it. That $20,000 is really helpful, especially in this market for Fayetteville. It can definitely make or break a deal or add some additional money to their pockets. They can to buy down the rate, whatever they want to do with it, cover closing costs. They don't have to give it. So I particularly like the city of Fayetteville down payment assistance program. And you can do a manual underwrite on those too, so they don't have to have an automated approval. So if there's someone who's have a couple different jobs where their credit is a little funky, they can still be able to get them. So if they're denied on other programs, that's a good program for them. As well as what else do we do that's very cool? There is something else that I want to say. We have a really good asset depletion program too. And asset depletion is if someone's heavy with 401k, they have a lot of IRA money. It's calculated a little different from the traditional way. Typically, it's eligible for older people who have assets and retirement funds. You can calculate it at just a 10-year repayment. So instead of stretching out for the regular returns, 240 or 360. So if it's a short amount of time that we're dividing it by, then that means they can get more money. So one of my examples is I have an older lady, I was talking, she was 62 and a half, well, she's not older, but she's 62. And she was thinking that she was doing reverse mortgage because she's going to buy it as a primary. But when we did the calculations, it was like $3,400. And then since the asset depletion allows you to just use 10-year repayment, we were able to get her a little bit more money and she didn't have to sell her house. So like different programs, but a lot of people are not sure what they need. So we can definitely sit down, look at their situation, evaluate, see what programs are better for them in their situation. So I like the asset depletion, and it's really good, and like the P&L payments. So in case we're realtors, for the most part, our money's money. But we are really good at calculating self-employment too. So we'll figure out what programs work for the self-employed, like all of our self-employed. That's it for Success Lending. Thank you.
Thank you. Good information.
Well, I am going to move out of the way for the lovely panelists.
I love your dress.
Oh, thank you. You're right.
Yeah, that's not how this.
Different color.
Well, good morning, everybody. We have I feel like a really good panel today because a lot of agents, it's just like when I think about when I was a teacher and you spend 4 years preparing for this job and then you get into that job and you have no idea what to do. I feel like that applies to almost everything. So I just feel like it's just such a worthwhile topic to sit down with newer agents who have kind of figured out systems that work for them. And so today we have Crystal, or LR, and we have Justine, and we have Wendy. All of them are rock stars in their own right. And so we just kind of want to pick their minds and see what we can learn from them. Right. Moderating, supposed to be Nicole. But that's okay. That's okay, Nicole. I still love it. All right. So we'll go ahead and get started because I know y'all's time is very valuable. Y'all probably have lots of things to do today. So my first question, or our first question for you guys is, starting with your own journey, what was your first year like? And what helped you to get traction in such a competitive market? There's realtors on every corner. So what did you guys do to build up some momentum?
I think because I don't want a baby at lunch, I want to hear like what you guys did and then just kind of compare it to like the most current, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so I spent like 2020 was crazy for me because I was getting my license at the same time while the market was kind of closed, so it was a little chaotic, but in 21, once the floodgates kind of opened back up, it was crazy for me. And everybody was running, I felt like, after as much as they could. And I didn't have a plan, and I didn't have much money. So I went after FSBOs, and I got my first 2 deals were with this for sale by owner. He had multiple vacant lots. So at that time, I was a solo agent and had no idea how to even list land. And I just went on the MLS and I looked at what they were doing and how much commission they were charging, and I just copied that. And, you know, I didn't even have, when I set up the photographer to come take out the pictures of the land, I realized that I didn't even know exactly where the lines were. It was a lot. So, but I also realized that you just call other people and ask them. I realized like that was life, and you were allowed to do that. You could just call people and ask them a question, and then they would give you another number of somebody else, and then you could call that. So I kind of just was following crumbs, but it was wild. I mean, eventually I joined a team so that I could have consistency and education. But I will say that I learned a lot just by jumping in.
Right.
I mean, it was risky. I probably was very ignorant to the fact, you know, that the risk was so high, but it didn't matter. I was, you know, ready to go. I had my license. It had taken me like 4 years to get. Okay. Literally 4 years to get. Okay. So eventually, once I got that license, I was gonna make some money.
Right.
And that FSBO turned into really good deals for me. Like, he put me on to more people and then more people. So that, and I realized that once you're out in the street and you start talking to people, then they point you to other people, then you start talking to them, and then they point you to here, and then you're just like, whoa, you got all these people you're talking to.
Yeah. Now I have a follow-up question, because I think a lot of people would have this question with FSBOs for sale by owners. How did you approach like that one FSBO, for example, that ended up turning into more business for you?
So I called the number.
Mm-hmm.
I was driving on Ranch Road in Clayton, and I called the number, and I was like, I see you want to sell your land, and I want to come look at it, please. I like had no plan, literally had no plan. It was probably insane. I was brave. And it was like this older man, and he was like, all right, I'll let you do it. And I was like, really? Perfect, let's go. You know, and I think I just had energy, and I like went after him, and I think he was shocked that I was, you know, so eager and excited, and he let me do it. And then he let me do another one. And then, I mean, he'll tell you, I'm his favorite agent. He tells everybody in his family. I mean, you know, not all of them are easy to work with, but,
Right.
you know, I do think that he had a bad experience previously, right? And I was in hospitality and management for a long time. Like, I was a manager at Cheesecake Factory.
Right.
You know, so I realized that things happen that are out of your control, but being the savior or like being the turnaround to their opinion and how that could have gone is fun, you know, and then it helps them continue on and want to do more. And then you feel like, you know, just because that was your experience before doesn't mean it has to be like that now. And then you get more movement going in general, because now people are realizing, okay, I can trust you to help me sell this, and then you gave me and now you can help me sell this, and now you can help me sell that, and just being a problem solver for people, I think is, you know, really
sure.
beneficial.
Yeah, there are bad apples as there are in every industry, so
Yeah.
sometimes we do have to restore faith
Yeah.
in the real estate agents. What about you, LR? What was your first year like?
My first year was no sales whatsoever. My first year, I came in kind of like right behind you, but it was like when everybody was a real estate agent, it was easy. Just post your real estate agent and you're gonna do a lot of deals. Well, that was, you know, during COVID. Post-COVID was more like, yeah, you're gonna get whatever's left over, and it was where you had to really focus on lead generation systems and relying on like other avenues, because it wasn't easy just to say I'm a real estate agent at that time.
Right.
Interest rates were slowly climbing, and this is when clients were tripping about 4 or 5. Because everyone was getting a 2, 3, so
Right.
interest rates were slowly climbing, and everyone's upset. And I'm just trying to get somebody to work with me. So my first year actually consists of just learning the law, learning all the different resources that we had, because at any given point, I wanted to be a breadth of knowledge. So if someone came with any type of situation, I wanted to make sure I had it.
Correct.
So I will tell you, the first 8 months, I did no deals whatsoever. But it didn't stop me from wanting to be the best. And I kept posting on social media. I kept doing everything I needed to do. And then when the deals came, I was fully prepared for it. But the couple months of trying, for sure. I kept questioning myself if I chose the right path.
Right. And my follow-up question for you, because I know that you serve, and thank you for your service. How has that, if at all, played a role in your success? Have you been able to tap into that military aspect?
Honestly, no.
No?
Because you have active duty real estate agents that actually are, they're with them 24/7. Like you have folks that will go to work and put on a uniform and will literally be in front of like several different people on a regular basis and say, hey, I sell real estate, and because they look like them, they're gonna go with it. Right. So I'm competing against the active duty real estate agents, and then I'm also trying to get them to win me over. Like I'm a woman, I'm airborne and aerosol, but understand the military still has its ways about it, right? Even being high speed in the military, I still didn't get the recognition that I needed. So yes, I used veteran. That helped me with Veterans United, which we will talk about. But when it came to just me posting on, I'm a veteran, I'm a real estate agent, I'm squared away, I jumped out of airplanes, that didn't coach me.
Okay. I wanted to ask you about that specifically, but that very surprising. But I was a teacher, and honestly, up until like this past year, I haven't had any teacher, like any of my old coworkers reach out to me until literally year 5.
Yeah.
So I do get that. Okay, what about your first year, Wendy?
My first year was challenging as well. I think the first week I cried. I didn't know what to do. I went from a profession that I knew everything to a profession I knew nothing. And I just finally said, this is gonna work. It's gonna work. And so I started reaching on to other more experienced agents who were doing what I wanted to do. And that was huge for me. So they would let me tag along to their open house, and then they would make me do my own, and then they would let me tag along for a showing, and then they would say, hey, can you do a showing for me? And that's into that. And my first deal was actually a referral from an agent that I was in. So that was my first one. It was when the market was hot, but yet it was still kind of, everybody knew everybody, and I was new.
Yeah.
So it was a manufactured FHA $160,000 loan, so it was not an easy one.
Yeah.
And she was busy. She was busy, and so she fed me, and I ran it.
So in short, you know, even if it doesn't start off very strong, learn from others, and just strive to be your best.
Wendy had the most positive attitude. I remember, honestly, she was like, everybody loved Wendy.
My husband, everybody at this job got me rich. Because I would do showings for other agents. I'd be like, showing a house today, showing a house. I was showing a house constantly. And his friends were like, man, you guys are really hot. Yeah, right. I was showing houses. Yeah, right. So,
Y'all stories are all different, but what I'm hearing is y'all all made a decision that I'm gonna make
you
this
do.
work.
You do.
Y'all had a different approach.
Mindset.
You know,
the work.
Yeah.
And I'm not done it.
That's right. That's right.
And even within that first year, I'm gonna tell you, I tried to do what everybody else was doing, and I would beat myself up, it's like, why is this not working for me? But I just realized that I gotta go through the motions to find out what works for me.
Right.
And it took some time, but like she said, it was just that mindset, you gotta wake up every day, even though you got hung up like 5 times, because I realized early in the game that I'm not gonna phone call, but I tried, I attempted several times. But even though, getting those rejections, being hung up on, telling me to not call never again in life, it was just getting that mindset saying, hey, today's bad,
Yeah.
but today I'm gonna find me a life.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because we're
Today's
okay.
bad.
I am determined that they can do it, I can do it.
Yes.
Mindset matters. Okay. Well, I'll say my first year, I was scared. I started off with a firm that pushed lead generation, and that scared me because my mindset is, what if I get clients and they start asking me questions and I don't know the answer? I don't want to come off like I'm competent because I feel like it's a good way to turn them off. Now, this was all in my head. And so the first 6 months, I refused to do any lead generation, and I sat down and learned on the contracts. Like, that is when I was going to classes about market analysis. That's when I spent the first 6 months doing it. And then, like, the last 4 months, I actually ended up getting I ended up closing off work, which is not a lot, but I felt work. Like, but I respect that you just kind of.
I just went in there because that's just how I do it in life. Like, I moved to North Carolina by myself and my 2 kids because I was tired of New York. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's how I live my life. I don't like to I feel like I'm capable of doing a lot of things because I can pick myself back up and keep going. So I don't limit myself, and I, from a young age, realize that I don't want to ever work a job that's going to cap me off at any price, because I'm always going to show up on time. I'm always going to show up looking my best and give my best foot forward. And then if I'm getting the same as Joe next to me, who just shows up late and sloppy, it's not going to work for me. So I knew that if I could have a job that if I worked harder, I could get more, that was going to work for me.
Let me go to I feel like we spent a lot of time on that first one. Sorry. All right. Question 2. If you had to start all over again tomorrow, what is the very first thing you do to generate business? From everything y'all learned.
Step outside of my comfort zone quicker. Step out. Yeah, it took me a while.
I would say continue to meet more people, like more connections. I stepped out and was out meeting, physicals or whatever, but meeting other people in the community, like just other connections. I think I didn't put as much emphasis on the building of the relationship part, and I think that that's a huge part of the business, because when people know you, and then they trust you, and then they put your name out there, and then you're working with people that you enjoy, and it doesn't feel like work, right?
So mine's gonna be a little different.
Okay.
Mine would be, and I know this is probably unheard of, but I probably would have jumped around from I think I would have at least tried 3 big major firms to pick and understand their systems. Because what it is that when you get locked into one firm or 2 firms, that's all you know. But over the time, you want to conferences and understanding, there's so many different systems out there. I'm a systems person. So if I was able to actually see the different systems, find effective ways to blend it to make it my own, then it would have been better. But as a new agent, don't jump around too much. It doesn't look good and all this stuff. But in essence, I wish I would have had.
Yeah.
To get a feel for it and then create my own plan based off of what I like from each different.
Yeah.
I think I did that. Yeah. First firm I was with, they pushed too much lead in. That wasn't me. Yeah. So I went to a firm that was more education focused and learned a lot. And then, they didn't really help us a lot. So I switched again.
Yeah.
So it's like you do need to find your fits.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. I do agree with that. I should have myself here. So, questions. All right. All right. The third question: time is tight when you're building. What activities do you focus focus on daily or weekly that actually the needle in your business?
Catching my people. Talking to people, loving on people.
Yeah. Now, how do you, especially once like your sphere starts getting larger, how do you make sure you touch everyone? And do you touch everyone the same or do you touch everyone differently, like your past?
Sure. We shouldn't put our biases on our people, but we do. There's certain people I like to talk on the phone to, there's certain people I like to text, and certain people I like to Facebook. So I do that, and that works for me.
Right.
I use my database constantly. CRM, I mark who I talk to, how I talk to them. I'm constantly sending out cards, for no reason. Anybody in my database who's a school teacher got something last week from their Amazon wish list, things like that. Touch my people. I had a client who had a baby 2 weeks ago, and her daughter and her newborn got a book from me. Little things. Just touching people.
Yeah.
I use right now. I use Bold Track. It was Katie for, and so I just mark it before I talk.
I do my emails. I mean, my email is clean. Like, I look at my emails constantly, deleting and unsubscribing, and clean that thing up, and clean this out, and get rid of this. And I'm working on my tax as well. But I think when I do that, it makes me feel like I cleaned my room today, or I made my bed. You know what I mean? It makes me feel like, okay, that's something off of my to-do list, and it's something tangible that I know that I can do every day that keeps my business moving forward. I'm not missing emails or attorneys sending me stuff, I'm getting that out of the way so that I have more room for more business.
Okay. So you're keeping your system clean and clear of, I'll say, free.
Yeah, clutter.
But I also knocking out your to-do list.
Yeah, because my CRM goes to my email and tells me what people to reach out to. So that in my email, I can't clear it out until I've done that. So it forces me, and then I can see the number of emails that I have. So that it is an alarm in my brain that says, but I had to train myself to get there, and I really saw really high successful people doing these things. Like their emails are clean. Their system, they're following up, they're tracking all the time. Like, if you're gonna be successful in that business, you've gotta aggressively, constantly be back in it. It's a forever thing.
Yeah.
I use we follow costs.
Oh,
It's really simple, and I also find that emails open a lot, because emails, and so I find that that's an easy way to stay in communication with them, because they do see that they can tell if they open the email, find that they open emails more than lots of other things. So I use that as my passive now. Should I probably turn it up? Yeah, sure.
and what do you focus on daily?
So
That you see improvement in your business?
everything. And I will tell you this, what I do in real estate is not healthy, and I think maybe it does slow me down. But literally in the morning, I dedicate these 2 hours, and it's either using Reach, which is an app that allows you to put everybody that you have in your phone and send them mass text messages. So once somebody comes sending something, if it's like an update, if it's like a special or something, like for instance, they were talking about a job coming to Raleigh, and I have some clients in Raleigh, or something that they're moving to Raleigh to where employment was coming. I might present that out that week, that out to be something great for them. So once you become, you can reach out to any and everybody. It's very easy. Once you put them into that system, that app, all you have to do is create the message, and it sends it to everybody. So that's one thing I do once a week. I use follow-up calls for my current and nurturing clients. Then I also use Lofty, which is a version of K4, because it comes with our firm. And that has so much tied into it. Like any lead generation that I want, when it comes to Google local service ads and all of that stuff, I can tie that into Lofty, something very similar to K4. And it has an AI setup too, as well, calls where someone does respond, and the AI guy will respond to them. And I always get this call, it's like, who's Axel? Like, the word. It's an AI guy, because sometimes they'll respond to an email or a text message, and then the AI guy will go back and like, hey, okay, so what would you like to see or whatever, so. And then because we get on the lead generation portion of it, because I am using different platforms, Lofty helps keep everything in one place. But Follow a Boss is very user friendly.
Yeah.
And Lofty is not. So I use that for the nurture. For sure.
Y'all are happy if y'all use I called an agent that I was going to make an offer on this listing, and like some Siri type person answered the phone. Like, have y'all heard of that or and have y'all using that? Like, it took a message from everything.
Yeah, I had at one point, there was an AI dialer, I can't remember the name of it, but it was very expensive.
That's what I figured.
It was like $5,000 a month, like it was insane. And then it was a free, a 90-day trial, and I broke in 90 days.
Looking for a house.
Yeah, but it was crazy, but you know, you couldn't tell if it was, the AI person, or if it was like me, you know? And she could hear better accents than I could hear. So sometimes I was like, the AI person is great, because she could hear what they were saying. Sometimes accents throw me off, so I won't hear anything. I just hear whatever your words are. And the AI person would pick up on it. Great. That's awesome.
It was so friendly and it was like so efficient. I was like, no, wait. He told me, but
Yeah,
I was just wondering if any of y'all.
it was like integrated.
I'm afraid of using that, and I can see why it would be easier for the real estate agent. But I know for me, sometimes if I call something and I get like an operator, I'm gonna hang up, because I just want to talk to a real person.
Yeah, and they can't read, so it's like if you put notes in there, or if you were texting the person and then they were calling, it wouldn't recall that conversation, you know what I'm saying? So then the person would be like, we already talked about this.
Right.
Yeah, so like, are you listening or not? So,
I'm not that busy yet.
yeah.
Okay, so organization, and I like that you use multiple systems. I think that, I just told Nicole to make a note of, reach.
Yeah,
Because that's what I do like that in follow-up calls. I can email everybody.
Yeah,
say
me too.
Or I can pick like who it goes to. But texting is something that sometimes is a little more convenient if
I'm talking about every holiday they're getting something from me. You know,
Right.
they like, did she just send this to like 100? No, I did not. She just said that it went to everyone.
Yeah, that's
Right.
easy.
Yeah.
Love that. Cause that's an easy way to keep in contact and just say happy whatever holiday it is, birthday, anniversary,
Right.
Thanksgiving.
I think KB Core does that too.
It probably does. Amy Core does a lot.
But KB Core is not as user friendly.
It's not. It's
My
like awful.
gosh,
It's just
it's
like
like a job, it's a learn that thing.
Next question, how did you find your niche or your voice as an agent? And what role has personal branding played in building your momentum?
Well, I like buyers personally. And that was like, when I first started, everybody was talking about listings. It was all about listings. You make more money, you make more money, you make more money. It's just listings, right? Easier. So, but for some reason, I just kept feeling like, this is not what I like to do more. I don't like to do them more. I like to work with buyers more. I just did. I felt like it was, I had more control of the scenario. I felt like I could get paid faster. I felt like I could see the end, where with listings, you can't always see the end. And it was a lot of me spending money on signs and lockboxes and photos and all of these things that are not cheap to hopefully make money.
Yeah.
Right? So there's always a game to play, and I suppose it depends on, buyers are potentially more needy, right?
Right.
They're calling you maybe every day, or a listing where it's like every week. right? So they might be more demanding, but for my personality style, that's okay.
Yeah.
You know, but it was really like a mind thing that I had to get over because everybody else in the world says go for the listings.
Right.
And I get that you can have maybe more listings than you can have buyers because these people aren't gonna need you as much, right? But you're gonna have a lot of signs, right? So there's always a cost to everything. It just depends on what's gonna work for you. But what I did notice as a solo agent, paying for all of these resources is high, girl. It was high. It was high. I was paying for this MLS, this MLS, this MLS, this resource, this. I was like, well, what? It was high.
Yeah.
I mean, last year I paid out a lot to keep my flow flowing.
Yeah.
So, you know, and that's when I transitioned over to this team because with April, I knew those systems. And I knew that the systems that she had, I knew how to already successfully work those systems. So I felt confident in my ability to be able to convert because I know all those systems.
Yeah.
Where when I first joined the team, I was on that flex team. It ran me around like a crazy person, but I knew I learned how to convert those leads fast. Right? But I didn't learn how to create a business or generate something sustainable that I enjoy doing. That was there. I was just paying.
Okay. What about you, LR? How did you find your niche? So Justine found that, you know, what works for everybody else does not necessarily work for me. How did you find yours?
This is gonna sound crazy, because if I told my agents I have like a few under me, they were like, I don't believe it. But I'm not quite sure if I found my niche yet. Because what I've realized is I came in when real estate was changing, then it's shifting. Like, I feel like real estate now is where it was when I was just a buyer.
Yeah.
And every time it shifts, I shift. And I shift the way I'm advertising, I shift the way I'm getting clients, I shift the way I'm handling sellers, so my systems are the same. But when it comes to what works for me and how I'm getting clients, it's coming from everywhere.
Yeah.
What about what you enjoy the most?
Oh, I love buyers, sure, with you now. I love buyers, but I love buyers for COVID. I love having control. I love knowing for a fact that there was.
We gonna get paid, we gonna get
At some
closed.
point, and then understanding it was fulfilling.
Yeah.
Just seeing we went through all this
Yes.
just for you to have those keys and
Yes.
see them smiling and be like, okay, this was all worth it.
Right, we are partnering going through more,
Yes,
right?
yes.
This is not easy, but
Yeah.
you get to partner with them, do that.
Absolutely.
That is true. And Wendy, and I think about your husband with the kitchen stuff. What role has personal branding played in building your business?
Personal branding, I think for me is branding yourself first.
Yeah.
Who are you? Where do you come from? You know, for me is I started off with branding because I was in the education field, was my team are educators who happen to sell real estate.
Oh, nice.
And that's sort of our
I
niche,
like that.
our branding.
Yeah.
I like how you fell into your, you know, how you're doing it, and I'm kind of the same way. And I tell my agents, you have to throw in a little bit of what you like, or you're gonna get burnt out.
Yeah.
And so for my husband, it was a foodie and, you know, hey y'all, I'm back. Go to any of his videos. Hey y'all, I'm back 10 times. And it's just laughing. And that works, that's who he is. And then his kitchen selfies. And it's weird because I'm like, you guys need to do selfies. You need to do selfies. And he just did kitchens and it just sort of fell into that. So I really do like that. I like the mix of buyers and sellers though. I really do like a 50-50 mix. My first year, it was, I did have one listing that was mostly buyers. And so when you do listings, like you said, you kind of learn all these things that you don't know and you feel like you're an imposter sitting there. But I told myself, I'm a really good buyer's agent.
Yeah.
So I know what this listing needs to have.
Right, and I think that's better.
And so therefore now, when
Yes.
I go into my listing appointments, I tell them what those buyers
Our
are gonna
expectations.
say, what the buyers are looking for.
Right.
That's why I became such a good showing agent, because I would show houses for other agents, and then I would know what my clients wanted.
Yeah.
Because it's so easy to tell somebody else's client, you know, this is a good question, I'm not sure, I haven't researched this house, I
Yeah.
just got a call this morning. I'll find out the answer, and then now I know what they're looking for.
Yeah.
So for my niche, mine is evolving, and I kind of know which direction I want it to go into, but, I like to help out there, younger, older, in between, women, men, single, married.
Anything,
Yeah.
as long as, makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Motivate.
Yes, and I agree with all of you. I would say I was also an educator, and I know that that's my gift. I know that that's a gift by God. And so instead of, like you said a little bit ago, instead of trying to do what everybody else is doing,
Right.
you find what
What's
your
you.
gift is,
Yeah.
and you know, make it work. And I do agree. I've had clients, multiple clients ask me, like, do you prefer working with sellers or buyers? And I tell them the same, like, both, because it helps, it strengthens me when I work with the other, you know? So, yeah. Okay, next question.
I just wanted to share, it's interesting because y'all were asking about AI and bias. I love technology, but it's funny because y'all kind of like, yeah, we use it in some ways, but this is where your authenticity comes through because your complaint was, it doesn't know what it's talking about, it's coming off fake. You know, and in your niches, you leaned into what was most authentic about you and you showed your personality.
Yeah.
So that just kind of shows me that no matter, you know, I love technology, no matter what shiny thing comes out,
Right.
the stuff that's going to stay is the human connection.
Oh, absolutely.
Because how y'all shared was something you always do in your day. You said it differently, but you each said you contact people.
Yeah.
You honor people,
Yeah.
you build relationships with people.
It's a relationship business, it really is.
All right, next question is about lead generation. It can feel overwhelming. So what are your top 1 or 2 lead sources right now? And how do you consistently work them?
Number one for me has been since day one, and it still is my sphere.
Yeah.
Is my sphere. The majority of my business is referral business. I did not pay for leads until I started the team. So it was interacting with other agents who would refer business to me. I did a deal with somebody in Rayford, and then they had a client who Goldsboro didn't want to help them, and referred it to me. So it was referrals or my sphere. I call my heroes, people who tell other people about me. So that's number one for me.
Follow-up question for that. It's easy to call like people you talk to on
Sure.
a regular basis
Right.
and just
Right.
kind of sneak in.
Right.
It'll naturally come up. Most of the time they'll ask you how's real estate.
Absolutely.
But what about the ones that you don't talk to frequently? And it can come off like, for me,
So-
my roadblock is
So-
I don't want to come off fake.
I don't either, and I have a really hard time with just cold calling somebody. So what I'll do is every once in a while, I'll go through my friends list or my phone or my database and who have I not talked to in a while. So I want it to be organic, so I'm gonna go to their social media. I'm gonna see what's going on. If I don't think it's appropriate to just cold call them, I'll comment on them. And then that way, it's sort of bringing up my name to them. And that way it's more organic.
Yes, I
You know, because if somebody had a job change in 6 months ago, you haven't talked to them and you calling them, it's kind of weird, you know, if you see it on social media or something like that, I'll do that.
I can definitely agree with that. I was literally just watching the training where the trainer shared that she takes 60 minutes a day just to reach out to people and just make them feel good about themselves. Happy birthday, congratulations on your job change, great job, congratulations that your daughter graduated college or your new baby. And then it puts you top of mind, and they have business and they already know you, like you, and trust you. You don't have to ask for the business, they'll bring it to you.
Yeah, that's always in my routine, but if I'm waking up and I don't have the best morning, I start with those.
Yeah.
Because those are the fun ones.
Yeah.
And it gives me more gratitude, and can move forward, so yeah.
And I like that because, you know, we all have learned forward.
Yep.
You know, and I'm like, to be forward isn't always the most
It's not.
authentic approach, especially with like the ones you don't talk to that frequently. And then it's like, oh, well, I know we haven't talked in 6 years, but now I know what you're up to. I gotta go. You know, it's like.
Those are the ones I'm gonna private message first.
Right.
Hey, we haven't talked in so long, you know.
Yeah.
I invite people to a lot of things too, like
That's
at
good.
open houses, we do so many
Events.
open houses and things, there's always something to invite somebody to. And I feel like it's people like to be invited, even if they don't wanna go, they like an invite. So I'm like, hey girl, we're having this huge event, thought, you know, you're not buying a house or even live here, but if you know anybody, it's gonna be good.
But sometimes, like, I'll be honest, that's who comes to open houses if no one else does. There might be one or two.
I invited somebody to go to see your new listing, actually, with the pool.
Oh,
And
okay.
I was like, hey girl, I know you want that 4-bedroom with this, got 3 in a bonus room and the pool. Sure did. They sure did. This week, I'm like, yeah, sure did.
Yeah. Well, we're doing one Sunday.
Yep, I told her. Go right over there, you're gonna love it.
And what's working for you, LR, as far as lead
I
generation?
use a lot, but what's working for me, is Zillow, Donors United, of course. And then also my sphere, like I told you, I take about 2 hours every day. And half of that is actually just getting on Facebook and just scrolling and see who I'm gonna talk to. And then what I do on the monthly basis, I just pick somebody out of who I've done work with in the past, and I'll send them $25 Amazon for. And I did that to a lovely couple that did not want to buy at all last year, and then it was like 2 months ago, they called me, she's like, I want this townhome in Wake Forest, let's go. I'm like, okay, I'll see you there.
Yeah.
You know, so it was just like, it's the small things, but that $25 gift card kind of like, keeps them like, oh, thank you, you thought about me, oh, I appreciate it. It's not a lot, but it's something that they.
People like that.
Yeah.
People like, people give a $5 Starbucks gift card, honey, and they will be happy.
Yeah, for sure, so that's, yeah, I will tell you that, but then Zillow is, like she said, I know she did the flex.
Yeah.
I have a team here, so we do use Zillow. Zillow is good. Now, I like it for my team because it puts them in front of clients 24/7. To where
Really
they get
motivated.
to master their skills when it comes to talking to people. And then also if they get those really difficult clients or if they don't know what to do with it, then we sit down and we have a mastermind and we figure out how to handle it. And that's the part of real estate that I love.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy, but it's the chase. It's
Ah,
the, you know, that's,
problem
yeah,
solving.
and it's always
Yeah.
something different to where it's not the same thing
Yeah.
every day. So yeah, Zillow and Donors United right now in this area is what, you know, I think the majority of my.
Now, vendors should not follow the question. Is it that you have partnered with a lender, or is it that you, like, they have a program that you tapped into?
Yes, so it's hard now to get on board. But remember when I came in, everyone was being the superstar real estate agent and no one was thinking about lead gen. So I was the only one thinking about lead gen because I had no idea what to do. And when I got on, it was like, oh, cool. Like, you're good, like we need agents. But then not even, I would say 6 months later, they started getting rid of agents and it made it so difficult to join. So now it's literally having that partnership with every other firm that wants to go with them. But it was just literally submit my application. Okay. But I do have friends that have submitted their application and been waiting this for 2 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's just really different.
All right. This is a good question, but I forgot to put it in here. But confidence doesn't always come easy. I would say I struggle with that, and sometimes, if I'm honest, I still do. How did you overcome self-doubt or imposter syndrome in your first few years? I'm starting with you.
I still love imposter syndrome sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do. Because I'm growing.
Yeah.
You know, my business is growing, my team is growing. For me, I truly believe the saying, you are who you surround yourself with. So I have made sure to surround myself with people who need me, people that are equal, and people that I need. And so I have that good mix. And when I'm having one of those weird days, I know who to go to. This is what it is too. So just surround yourself with good people. It's so important. So, because 9 times out of 10, I'm the positive one. I'm the one who's like, let's go. You can do it, you're doing great, let's go. And then sometimes I need it. So getting that confidence from that.
Yeah, I think analyzing what you need while you're going through things is tough, right? Like, I was on that flex team, and then I was a solo agent, then I joined another team. So, but in between that, right, when I was a solo agent and I was pouring all this money into my, business, and I was making money, I was working with a lot of clients, but I was getting so burnt out that I was like, I didn't care about them. I was like, this isn't gonna be sustainable for me. Like, I'm gonna keep going on this ride, I've got to put myself around more people that are gonna help me, pour into me when I'm tired or when I'm whatever. And like, right, like you have to get around other energy. Because there are times when things are overwhelming or the deals fall through at the last minute and it just, whatever. There's all the things that happen. But I think analyzing like what you want and how can I get there and who is gonna help me get there? Who can I connect myself to that's gonna help me stay on top of myself and motivated for myself, right? And I think that helps your confidence.
Yeah.
Because now you're not running alone. Now you're not by yourself, naked and afraid. No offense, but that's the show that I think of, right? Like we're trying to survive this struggle experience and by yourself, it's so daunting. So I think that energy you get from other people who are also fighting this fight with you is incredible. And that propels you to keep going, keep reaching for more.
So, I think I've always been the type to negativity my entire life. Like, so my family dynamic is, and of course, it's extended and, oldest dad and all that good stuff. I was the oldest on my mom's side, the middle with my stepfather and his children, and then the youngest on my dad's side. So at any given point, depending on where I was like forced either to be a leader or be in charge, or I had to be in charge.
Yeah.
So going to the military, it was all like, hey, make sure you know what you're talking about. If not, then sound like you know what you're talking about, and then we'll figure it out. So I've always had that mentality where even if I feel like it's a bad day, in my mind, that mindset, we go back to that mindset.
Yeah.
You got it, go figure it out.
Yeah.
Take it until you make this been like my mindset my entire life.
Moment of total transparency. When I was with my second firm, my mentor forced me to make content videos because I would share things. And she's like, you have a lot to share and you're good at breaking things down. I wanted you to make videos. I used to cry, literally cry every time I posted a video on social media. But I would say, to add to what you guys said, which was brilliant, like, do it anyway. Like, do it afraid. But now I was telling our transaction coordinator, who's also like our mentor, I was telling her, now when I post videos, I don't cry anymore. Like, now I might be like, or I make sure I don't watch it, but like, the more you do things afraid, it really does get easier.
The agent right now, you would think she does about 30 deals a month, but she just posts and she posts and she talks like, yeah, we make sure your buyers know this. She has not been a deal this entire year, but everybody that sees her like, yeah, she's killing it.
Yeah.
I just don't know good talk, and she doesn't. No, don't get me wrong. Over just her, again, making it till she make it. She has a lot of people in her pipeline, but you would think that she's out there doing millions on a monthly basis.
And she will.
And she will.
She
It's
will,
coming.
right.
It's one with it. I said when they all stop, it's
Right.
all gonna come.
That's how that happens. Those seeds, you just.
Yeah.
That's what I'm feeling.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so if y'all don't mind, I think we're right at 12.
Okay.
We have a few more questions left, so I was just gonna ask them if, one of y'all, if that's like your question, y'all can kind of jump in and answer. Yes, like for everybody. So, next question, what's something you used to think, and this is a good question, what is something you used to think was important that you now realize doesn't matter as much in this business? Who wants to answer that? Likes.
Shares, likes, yeah, for sure. But I'm gonna be honest, I really would think, and this is me being very transparent with you guys. When you see all these people that are making thousands and millions of dollars, and they get in front of you and say, no, it's consistency, and it's key, and it's this, and it's that. And to be 100% honest with you, about 80% of those people that are making a lot of money, they have a connection that they're not gonna ever tell you what they did.
Yes.
They have a lead generation system that literally work for them, and they will never share how they got it, to where I just stopped believing that.
Yes.
Because if you're not gonna sit down and tell me systems you're using, you're not gonna tell me exactly what does that look like, you're not gonna tell me how much you spend on it, and therefore whatever you're telling me is a bunch of BS. So I stopped believing a lot of those agents with thousands of followers, millions of followers, I stopped believing what they were saying.
Well, sometimes it's hard to, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes it just don't make, sometimes
It
it
doesn't
makes
make
sense.
sense, like, what?
No, that makes sense, right?
Yeah, it's, and they will all say the same thing, but you would leave like, well, what did I get from that?
Right.
Like, you know,
Right.
yeah, to where I just stopped following them, I stopped thinking that they had the whole world figured out, and I was just like, I have to focus on what's gonna work for me, and start one of those conventions and finding out that there are some good systems out there that will help me as an agent. Yeah, it's just not living the hype, to be honest.
Can I make a comment with that? And so basically, I function like that. People like what you're doing, and they're so vague.
Yep.
Right.
And they're not sharing. But with me, and I do okay. I've had a couple of firms reach out and they're like, well, I guess I'm doing a little bit better than I thought I was.
Yeah.
But I've learned to be good to people, people will be good to me.
Yeah,
for sure.
And one of my last transactions was I met someone just in a class and they were new. And I'm like, hey, you want to have coffee? Do you have questions? Here's my stuff. You know, I help you. It's not a, because I understand how you feel. And this person reached out, they were ready to sell. And I'm like, want me? It's like, yes, of course. This is who I want to help you.
Yeah.
So yeah, the ones who are making millions or whatever, you're not going to buy. And I'm like, okay, you know, that would be good.
Yep.
Right, and that's a connection though, that you
Yeah.
make, right?
Yeah, and it wasn't to reach out to sell. It was
Right.
out, you know, this person had mentioned, but that was not, I'm like, that was not why I wanted to have coffee. It's just like,
Genuine.
get your stuff out, that was nice. And it was such a great, such a.
Organic connection, like those are the ones you wanna work with, like you enjoy those experiences so much more. I mean, the paid lead, it's gonna like give me a little prickle.
Yeah. Everything. And I killed myself my first year trying to keep up with everybody on social media. Like I was literally, I mean, it was crazy. Like I'm literally trying to find an expensive car just to take a picture in front of it and be like, yeah, I'm that top real estate agent. But that was not working.
Yeah.
That was not working. Like, it just,
Right.
I mean, did it give me a few followers? Yeah, but it didn't give me the
But I feel like, who cares, I have a billion followers, and that doesn't really make me that much money,
right.
to be honest, I don't get leads from them. And I don't know what, you know, I honestly don't. My friends have all these views, they're like, I don't have to make $1 from these people. Right. You know, so like, they're just like to look at whatever I'm posting. It doesn't, I'm not actually making money.
How have you handled slower seasons or market shifts, which all of us, I think, came in around 2020. So we've experienced them in 5 years, so different shifts. So, and what do you do when business feels quiet?
Don't stop.
Right.
Yeah.
That's so hard,
Stop.
dig deeper.
I lose myself. Talk to more people. If I'm not busy, I'm like, okay, something's wrong. I lost my mojo. Okay, I gotta call somebody. I gotta go do something. I gotta go to an open house. But yeah,
Work your systems hard.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like in quieter seasons, that's when I can like optimize my business.
Yeah.
Like that's when I get more time to like organize systems that make it easier for me. when
Yeah.
I have this.
Yes, and you know, that's huge, because that's how you keep your business going like this, and you set up like this.
That's being a good business owner.
Right.
Because now I can send someone a buyer agency agreement and attach a video. Instead of like, I used to try to talk to everybody about everything they signed, but I was able to find systems where now I can just send videos and they just kind of talking about it while I'm doing something else, you know, so. Next question. What's one skill your agent should focus on mastering first? Is it contracts, scripts, negotiations, social media?
We're in a people business, working with people. So you can say scripts, I don't like the word scripts, I like the word conversations, but just work on having conversations with different people. If it is role play, it's role play. If it's networking, it's networking.
Yeah, for sure.
Whatever it may be.
So being able to talk to people. Are y'all able to go like to a store? I hear this from different agents. Are y'all able to go to a store and be like, and and get a client or get a.
I can talk to random nobodies, but that's just because of my personality, you know, so for me, you know,
You and Jonathan.
yeah, we just throw us up to the wall and we'll find friends. So for me, talking, I was a waitress for years, you know, I'm good at talking about myself. But I think you have to figure out what you need, right? That first year, so I could talk to people, but I didn't understand everything. I couldn't always see the vision. I think negotiating is one of my favorite things.
Yes.
And I like that, and I like learn how to, you know, make it, I don't know, that part is good. If you can know what the good negotiations look like, it makes you a better in the job, but is it better? So there's good in the job, and then there's good at getting the job. You know what I mean? And these are different roles that we're playing, right? Like this is this, and this is this. We gotta be at the end, do that at the same time.
You gotta be good at one, you can't be good at the other.
Absolutely.
You don't have anything to talk to.
Right, absolutely. So I suppose I could get all the people in, and then once I got them in, I had to figure out what to do with it.
Okay, good question here. We all learn from mistakes. What's the lesson you learned the hard way that you saved someone in this room? Ooh, time or stress?
Can I answer that one?
Yes.
Even when you're afraid of what your client's gonna say, tell the truth.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
And I learned, and to be very transparent, be very upfront.
Yeah.
Even if it causes you to lose a deal.
Yeah.
Be very transparent. And within, and I don't mind sharing this, because I tell all my agents, anybody I talk to, within my first year, I didn't have the best overhead. My brokerage tried to allow me just to go over what to win, and I got my first commission complaint. Now, when it came to paperwork, I mean, I told you I spent the first 8 months like trying to figure out everything. So I did everything right, but when it came to being transparent with the buyer and making sure they understood what everything meant, I didn't. And I felt at that, and I got a commission like behind it. And I honestly, I go back to that day when we had that conversation, and I told them the information. It's about 7 weeks. I told them the information, but I didn't stress the importance behind it because I was afraid that they were going to be like, "Oh, well, we're not going to get it." It wasn't necessarily omitting. It was just more like I told you I would recommend you get an inspection. But if you don't want to get it, you don't have the money. You don't have to do it. I didn't force them to do it. Right. And because I didn't force them, they wanted me for it. I mean, you can't force anybody to recommend. Right. But I do remember I had some hesitation behind it. But now I'm telling everyone, hey, you don't have to do it, but I recommend you doing X, Y, and Z. And ever since then, with all my clients, even if they don't want to hear it, they appreciate it. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one thing I'll just, it's okay. If they don't want to work with you ever again in life, you keep your part.
right.
Yeah.
Like I had, for nothing, I did have a client the other day call me in when we were discussing these inspections, and she said, well, the lender said I don't need any inspections. And I was like, you know, not that.
Yeah.
You know, but again, and I was just like, okay, you don't need any inspections, but at the bare minimum, when we're thinking about this biggest investment in your life, this, and this are probably really important. At the bare minimum. Right, so, and Nicole gave me some words of wisdom one time that I always refer back to, that, you know, we're not forcing them into making any decisions.
Right.
We are displaying them the facts and the options that are potential options for them, and that's it.
Yeah, and in my mind, I always, because again, customer service, like the customer's always right. So just give them what you want. Give them what they want to make them happy. But not just over time, just from experiences. No,
We need
I'm the professional. Listen to me.
Right.
Don't do it. Okay, we're gonna get it in writing,
Right.
which I did from the beginning. But it's just
But that confidence but like it takes, you have to be in the ring fighting for a little bit before you realize that you're like, listen, I know that this is your money and that you want to be running this show, but you can't. You're not qualified to run this ship. So I'll drag the boat and this is, you know, we'll partner in this together.
I do agree, asserting ourselves as a professional.
Gotcha.
I think that is so necessary. And I would say one mistake I made, is thinking you have more time to get agency agreements signed. It's kind of like, there are some agents that are not gonna be like, oh, you've been working with someone for 6 months. It's gonna be some agents that's like, are you in your agency agreement? Nope, they're gonna swoop in. So I learned that the hard way. And now on the buyer end, you know, it's kind of like, set up to where we have to bring it
Right,
up.
right.
But I used to shy away from it. You know, I didn't want to feel like I'm trying to force myself on
it's
them.
great, I think the change is great,
Yeah.
it really is.
Yeah, so I would say bringing up those agreements sooner, the exclusive ones sooner. All right, last question, fast forward 12 months, what do you hope to see in your business this time next year? And how are you working toward that now?
That's good.
That is a good question.
My team is still in the infancy stages, so I am so excited to see what 2026 brings, seeing them grow, and where I can learn how to leverage out some more, maintain my skill level of production, while being able to help my other agents as well.
Yeah.
So I'm real excited about seeing what happens next 12 months for us. Yeah.
I think I'm gonna be planning and organizing. I have a lot of really good momentum. Last year I was kind of working super, super hard. This year I'm kind of still working hard but smarter. And I just wanna build better just keep working those systems really strong, really just automate as many things that I can do. And if you keep working that same flow, once you find your flow, babe, work that flow, then it just starts to overflow. I'm ready to have that happen, right?
Sheesh. So the key thing she said, and I'm gonna be one, this is our future. Automation is our future.
Yeah.
At some point, you're not gonna have to do anything but have some type of workflow in place, and from the start of the lead to the end of the lead to the end of closing, automation is gonna do everything for us.
Yeah.
And we are almost there to where next year I want to be fully automated, to where if I do post something, that's all I do. And after that, all I'm doing is actually going to my CRM or picking up my phone, because I have a call now from something that I posted. I know a few agents that are already operating in that capacity, but it requires a lot of money, a lot of VAs and all that good stuff. But yeah, by the end of next year, I'm gonna be fully automated. Yeah.
Love that.
All right. Well, thank y'all for taking out time to sit down and answer some questions. I feel like I got something out of it, and that's what I just love about us coming together is we all can learn from each other.
Collaboration.
Absolutely. So, thank you.
Thank you for asking us.
Thank you
Appreciate it.
for having us.